Hello there, everybody. My name is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of Playing Solo Jazz Piano, as well as the three-part Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. And today we're going to delve in and take a look inside Book 2, the purple book, the middle child of the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. And I want to talk with you about some basic ideas for improvising over minor 2-5-1s. Actually, not ideas, scales, okay? There's a lot of different ways you could play on minor 2-5-1s. There's a lot of ways that you could choose one scale for each chord. But what I want to introduce you here is where I recommend getting started with these minor 2-5-1s, which is finding scales based on the tonic and using scales based on the tonic that you can use for multiple chords. So if we're doing a minor 2-5-1 in D minor, we're going to look for some D minor related scales that we can use that will cover all the chords of a minor 2-5-1. Now, before we start, something simple yet maybe profound about scales is that we should not expect every note of a scale to be consonant with the chord, right? And consonant here I'm using to mean that it does not demand resolution, right? And probably the best example of this is that if we have a C major chord, even just a triad, and we try to use an F, this is a note that I think we would pretty much all agree demands resolution, right? It's a note of the C major scale, but it totally demands resolution. And so as we come to these minor scales, we should expect the same thing, that most of these notes are going to fit. It's going to outline chords well, but we might have some notes that really don't fit and do demand resolution, okay? So keep that in mind while you view these scales. All right, so if you've got your copy of Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 2, we're on page 65. And the first scale to mention is the blues scale. And the blues scale actually fits quite well with minor 2-5-1s. It's probably very obvious, but it will give a bluesy sound to the minor 2-5-1. And if you're looking for the formula of the blues scale, you have it here. Blues scale would be the root, the flat 3, the 4, the sharp 4, the 5, and the 7. Now, we sometimes use blues scales against major 2-5-1s, in which case we have lots of blue notes, right? This term blue notes refers to notes that don't fit exactly with the chord, but are meant intentionally to rub up against the harmony and create that kind of gritty blues sound. So if I'm playing a major 2-5-1, some people might count different ways, but I really think of 3 notes as being blue notes. So I'm in the key of C here. This flat 3, clearly a blue note. Excuse me, that sharp 4 or flat 5, clearly a blue note. And that flat 7, really clearly a blue note. As we get into minor 2-5-1s, this is very sticky today. As we get into minor 2-5-1s, it's a little bit less apparent. It's mostly going to be that sharp 4 of the key that's really going to feel outside of the key center, because every other note of the blues scale is actually within the key signature, right? If we look at this C blues scale, we think about the key signature for C minor having 3 flats, we would have an E flat, we would have a B flat in that scale. So it's really going to be that sharp 4 here that's going to be a blues note and is going to create that bluesy feel. So listen to how this sounds against a minor 2-5-1. So certainly there's like a little bit of tension at some moments, but that's normal for a scale, and it's particularly normal for a blues scale, which includes these notes that create tension. So here's I'll play you the 2 examples from the book. One's in the key of G minor, one's in the key of B flat minor. So here we go, 2, 3, 4. And the example in B flat minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. overall, I think it sounds pretty good. A second scale option is the harmonic minor scale. And my view, at least, is that we create the chords for the minor 2-5-1 from the harmonic minor scale, right? We call it the harmonic minor scale because it's what we use to make harmony. If you're not familiar with the harmonic minor scale as compared to the major scale, it has a flat 3 and a flat 6, but crucially, a natural 7th, which acts as the leading tone. So in C, our harmonic minor scale would be C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C. And so what's unique about this scale is that we have this interval between A flat and B. We call this an augmented second. It's written as a second, but it sounds like a third. And a lot of musicians, particularly kind of traditional classical musicians, don't like using this interval in melodies because it has this kind of Eastern European, gypsy-ish feel. You know, Arabian Nights, whatever. In jazz, I think you're going to find that it's not very bothersome most of the time. Now, the second thing that you need to recognize about this scale is that it has this flat 6, which is cool, except that a lot of times for our tonic chord in minor 2-5-1s, we use a chord like C minor 6, or we'll use that natural 6, the 6th from the major scale. And so that would definitely put that flat 6 as a note that needs to resolve. So that's a note to watch out for. And remember, it doesn't mean don't ever use it, it just means make sure to resolve it. So let's take a look at these examples in the book. So letter A, again, these two examples are in G minor and B flat minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right. And so here I marked in the book where that augmented second is. I don't think you'll even notice it in this context. 2, 3. Right, and then there's the minor 6. I'm using it even though it causes conflict because I'm resolving it to the 5th. Letter B, again, I'm using the B flat now, harmonic minor scale. Watch out for where I've marked the augmented second and the minor 6. 1, 2, 3. So again, that flat 6 resolves downwards to the 5th. Okay, and then our third scale that we can use is the melodic minor scale. And the melodic minor scale is like the major scale, but with a flat 3. So every other note is the same as the major scale. It's got a natural 6, got a natural 7. And so because this scale has now a natural 6, it makes it an ideal match for that minor 6th chord, that tonic minor chord that we were just talking about. So one thing that a lot of musicians will do is they'll improvise with the harmonic minor scale for the 2 and the 5, and then change to the major scale, and change to the melodic minor scale for the 1 chord, not the major scale. That would be crazy. And so that eliminates this flat 6, which could potentially create a problem. So the melodic minor scale, again, I've got it written here. And now, if you're coming from a classical background, you're probably thinking the melodic minor scale has 2 parts, an ascending and a descending, and they're different. In jazz, we really only talk about the ascending version of the melodic minor. So we don't think about doing it differently, going up versus going down. And the reason is that in jazz, we're talking about sets of notes. And the descending melodic minor is the same as our Aeolian mode. So we already have a name for that set of notes. So when we name the melodic minor scale, we're talking about that ascending version. By the way, just side note, the melodic minor scale is super important in jazz, and we do a lot with the modes of the melodic minor. So it's really actually kind of in the water a lot of places in jazz. So let's listen to these examples. And here I pointed out the 6, because that's really the note that's different. And the 6 not only is different, but it's a great note to focus on as you get to the tonic chord. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Right, hear that sixth, the word raunchy always comes to mind with that note. Here's the second line in B flat minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hear that melodic minor sound instead of... It's got a different sixth and seventh. And so what I thought that I would do now is show you a pretty famous jazz solo with a lot of minor 2-5-1s that uses these scales and walk you through which scales are being used. So this is a Hank Mobley solo on the tune If I Should Lose You. And I'm going to kind of pick and choose which minor 2-5-1s I look at. Let me play you a little bit of this solo. I'm literally going to play it on the piano, so... on, and I'll show you a little bit more. But I want to highlight a few places where it's really easy to tell what scale Hank Mobley's using. So here's a minor 2-5-1. And he's literally going down the D harmonic minor scale. There's no mystery to me here. That's, I think, every single note of the D harmonic minor. Now, does he switch to the melodic minor? Well, we actually don't know because he doesn't use the sixth here. So it could be the harmonic minor or it could be the melodic minor. Going down just a little bit here is a moment where we see the blues. Right here, he's using the D blues scale, including that blue note, the A flat. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to the third chorus because there's some other great examples here. Let me play you the third chorus of solo. 1, 2, 3, and... for now. So again, here we're having the D blues scale. And I think you can really hear that bluesy sound. Right? And it's that A flat that gives away the blues sound. And then here again, we're hearing harmonic minor. How do we know that? It's that augmented second between the C sharp and the B flat, right? That's in the key signature here. And it's interesting because again, he avoids the sixth. And remember, the sixth is the only thing that distinguishes between the harmonic and melodic minor. Now, down below, and I didn't play this part for you, he does something that I don't really recommend in the book because from a theory perspective, it's questionable. But what I imagine he's doing here is using the D melodic minor over this entire 2-5-1. Why do I say that? Because he's using a B natural the whole time. And it really doesn't sound bad at all. The reason I wouldn't recommend it is because the E half diminished has a flat 5, which is B flat. And the A7 flat 9 has a flat 9, obviously, which is a B flat. So that B natural is going to potentially conflict. But he moves through it, right? He resolves it to the fifth every time. And even if I really emphasize those notes, it's only a a momentary passing dissonance. All right, so those are 3 scales that I would use as kind of your first line of defense when working on minor 2/5 ones. The blues scale, the harmonic minor scale, and then pairing the harmonic minor scale with the melodic minor scale. There is a lot about minor 2/5 in this book, Jazz Piano Fundamentals, book 2. So you might enjoy that. Also, if you like that Hank Mobley solo, there's a guided transcription project. So if you like this, check it out on jeremysiskind.com and comment with the word purple if you've watched the whole way through. Thanks for watching, everyone.